Good morning. Thank you for joining our webinar dedicated to photonics, the science and technology of light, a key digital technology, photonics in Europe, and more specifically to the EU-funded PhotonHUB Europe project. PhotonHUB has received funding from the European Union's Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation in public-private partnership with Photonics 21. That's to give you the legal and funding context. And that is why this webinar will be in English. I think that's the only exception in the 3 days of our festival today. That's why we have it in English. My name is Thierry Louvet. I am the Europe and International Affairs Director at Systematic. I am normally joined by my colleague Najwa Abdel-Jalil. I know Najwa is connected. Najwa, if you want to come on stage, please do, because you are actually the link of Systematic through the Optics and Photonics Hub and the project. Anyway, we can see your picture, and I know the photonics community know you very well. But Najwa is in fact the direct contact between Systematic and PhotonHUB Europe, and Nathalie in particular and her team. Here's Najwa. You were a bit shy this morning. Hi, Najwa. So yes, just to so that you can see Najwa and obviously connect her if you need more information following this webinar. Najwa is the coordinator of the Optics and Photonics Hub. I don't know if you want to say a few words, Najwa, regarding before I hand over to Nathalie. You need to unmute yourself. You're still muted. Maybe you don't want to talk. Yes, you do?
Hello, everyone.
Okay.
Sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, so I'm the coordinator of the Optics and Photonics Hub. Thank you, Thierry, for this introduction. And yes, I'm the link with Thierry for PhotonHUB Europe. So I think it will be an exciting webinar.
Thank you very much, Najwa. Yes, just to explain before I hand over to Nathalie, in fact, why have I handed the floor to Najwa and why am I mentioning Systematic? In fact, we are involved in this project in PhotonHUB Europe with other French photonics organizations, and we are involved in the project under Photonics France. And Photonics France is, as you probably know, the national association representing the photonics sector in France. PhotonHUB Europe is coordinated by VUB Brussels. I will try to say that in Flemish, Vrije Universiteit Brussels. I hope I have pronounced this correctly. And we are joined by Nathalie de Besse. Nathalie is EU Support Officer at VUB, Brussels Photonics. And Nathalie will give us a presentation about PhotonHUB Europe, what it can offer to European industry, and in this particular instance to French companies and to Systematic members and non-members. Obviously, that's important that we spread the news and the information about this project. Nathalie, the floor is yours. I'm just going to maybe show the slides, and then I think you have your own presentation, which you can share, and then you can go ahead.
Okay, good morning. And thank you, Thierry, for this nice introduction. So the aim is that I will give with this presentation an overview on how innovation with photonics can really be beneficial for your company. And during the presentation, I would like also to highlight the different services that will be offered by PhotonHUB to the benefit and the support of your company. So, as mentioned, I'm from the Vrije Universiteit Brussels, and we are coordinating this European project that is launched also with the photonics public-private partnership. So maybe just to introduce, Europe has identified 8 key digital technologies that they want to support to really boost the economy in Europe, and also to deal with the societal challenges. And you may recognize a lot of those key technologies, like, for instance, also artificial intelligence, where there is a lot of emphasis on it, but also photonics is one of those key technologies. Now, photonics is the science and technology of light. And this technology can manifest it in different formats. Photonics is there in the optical telecommunication with our optical fibers. Photonics is also in the solar cells and photovoltaics and other environmental or energy generated elements. Also in the lighting, think on the LEDs, where there is a huge potential of integration of different wavelengths and different formats of light. In the display, we are surrounded by displays to make it us comfortable to display the information in the right way, but also in manufacturing, in also our hospitals, on medical devices. We have a lot of medical optics, but also in manufacturing, like machine vision, to have sensors, and in general, optical components. So the photonics is really a huge domain, and can have different formats. Now, why we promote so much photonics is because we see that photonics can be really an answer to all our challenges. Challenges like for going to a greener society and to really push sustainability, to also create innovative and to go to the digital transformation, think on also the VR, the AR, but also all technology to digitalize. We are also facing a lot of social challenges, where also sensors or early diagnostics can really beneficial from photonics technology. And also it is important for our economy, because with photonics technology, we can create new products to create jobs. So, and that is also reflected in a few interesting reports that has been made, and also roadmaps under the umbrella of the photonics public-private ship, and thematics has been really also stipulated that importance of photonics on our economy. Like the global photonics market is about 660 billion euros. It was, and that are data from 20, so it's really growing, because if you see to the annual growth rate of the photonics production, it's about 7%, and it is really huge. And also important to notice is that Europe is really at a good position in view of the photonics technology. And of course, to maintain that position, it's important to really investigate it and also to explore it, so that to make really optimal use of that photonics technology. Now, if we look to the photonics sectors and the photonics companies in Europe, we are with about 5,000, and it's mainly SMEs photonics companies, employing about 400,000 people. But moreover, it's important to mention that we see that 260,000 companies in Europe can really be beneficial from using photonics technology. And those companies are situated in several industrial sectors, like in the health sector, agri-food, also climate and energy, in digitalization, in mobility, in manufacturing, and also safety, security, and space. I will later on in my presentation give you some concrete examples, because I think that's more interesting than just naming them by that. But we really want to integrate more photonics technologies in those sectors, since we believe that can really help those sectors. Now, when you want to integrate a photonics technology in your company, you have to go through a certain trajectory to really implement that innovation. And if you look to the timeline, and then also to the maturity on how far that innovation has been implemented in your company, you start first, of course, with the idea on where can photonics really make a difference and bring value to your product or your production. And with that idea, then you go to feasibility. And important is there the orienteering. What is the right photonics technology to be used in that particular case? Where can I really most benefit from it? Which optical parameters, which technology, integrated photonics or fiber photonics or another lighting system? What can I really will be most beneficial? Once this is really cleared out, then it is the prototyping phase. And in prototyping, it's important to have access to really good, mature photonics technology that will enable you also to upscale, that you later on can also have more products and so on. Excuse me. Then with that, if you go then to upscaling and manufacturing, it's important to have also a solid business case, and maybe business coaching can be really helpful there. Or you have to invest, and you have to have investment coaching. Another aspect, of course, once the photonics is fully integrated in your product or in your production, it's important that your employees are maybe also trained in that technology. So different aspects that can help successful and smooth take-up of that photonics innovation. Now, all those services that I just mentioned, like the orienteering, the deep technology support, the business coaching, investment coaching, and the training, are often offered through this European project that's called PhotonHUB Europe. PhotonHUB Europe is there already a few years, but in fact, it has a history, a track record, since we were also there to create first with networks of excellence the technology platforms. We have then provided those technology platforms to the industry, make access. We combined those centers in ActFast project. We had then the ActFast 4.0 project. There were also pilot lines. We had also an access centers specifically for researchers that has an innovative idea and maybe want to also create a company. And now we have also within PhotonHUB included the local photonics hubs, like Systematic, where we are now invited to give this presentation. So a long track record of working together such that we can offer also these services to the industry. And we are currently with PhotonHUB with 57 partners. with a lot of experts and a lot of countries that are included. And you see that there are also many flags in France. So we have, like mentioned, we have Photonics France on board as a local photonic hub partner, where Alpha RLH is a part of it, Minalogic, Optitech, Photonics Bretagne, and also Systematic Paris. And from the technology support partners, we have quite a lot of CNRS partners, more than about 10, like Femto-ST, the Laboratoire Hubert Curien, le Fresnel Institut Marseille, the Institute of Matériaux in Caen. We have also several laboratoires de Marseille. We have Lille on board, Toulouse, and also the Centre Nanosciences et Nanotechnologie de Troyes. So different also French partners are part of PhotonHUB. Now, what are our support mechanisms? What for us is important is first to listen to the needs of the company. So what do you need? Where can really photonics be giving an added value that your market position, or that you have an additional feature to your product, or to have another a more compact component, and so on. We focus mainly to small and medium-sized enterprises. It doesn't mean that we exclude large-scale companies, but later on, if I will talk about the subsidy levels, you will see that we put more emphasis on the SMEs. For us, it's really important to integrate those photonics in all those variety of industry sectors. It's not that we, with our project, only want to support the photonic sectors, but we believe that photonics can really the leverage factor of different industry sectors. With our project, you have seen that we give a large portfolio of support activities, and this is what we offer. With PhotonHUB, you will not get funding, cash money, but the services that are provided through and thanks to the European money. And what we also, since it is a European project, we really foster cross-border innovative projects. And of course, for us, is the impact important? So is it impacting your business? Will there be more jobs generated and so on? So we are constantly also monitoring this one. So your Photonics Europe, if I have to give only one slide, and it's this slide, it's a one-stop shop in photonics innovation, where we offer services, support in the orienteering, what is the best approach technology. We give also, very important, the deep innovation from TRL, so the technology readiness level 3 up to 8. Also, very nice program in training and reskilling, and then support activities in business investment, and also to look for regional support. It's a project, like Thierry has mentioned, about 19 million euros, where the main part of the budget is going to the deep innovation support. Now, talking about the deep innovation support, important is that we will first send out like what we call a scout. It is in fact a photonics expert based on what are the needs of your company, that you can go really in deep discussion and exchange of ideas to really see what is most beneficial for your business case. And then the support can be translated in an innovation project where we either will really accelerate the prototyping or help in the upscaling or look for the manufacturing of your components, depending on the technology readiness level. Now, how will that be done then, that innovation? We will select really the best European experts that can be from several of our partners, maybe one partner, and then, of course, also the technology. And then we combine that in a project that is highly subsidized. Now, regarding the technology, of course, we are not pushing technology because we first listen to the needs and then see which technology can really give an answer to that. But it's also nice to know that it is a wide scale of photonics technologies that we are offering. It are laser-based manufacturing technologies with additive manufacturing, laser cutting, and all these elements to really integrate photonics in more the production line. We have also several partners who are really expert in the polymer-based optics, so roll-to-roll printing, and really there. The specialty fibers, fibers not only for telecommunication, but also for sensing with Bragg ratings and so on. The MOEMs, especially also our French partners. The free space optics, all kind of optics, free form in glass, in plastic, for infrared, for visible. So really a wide range of several optics. And then we have also the 3 platforms around photonic integrated circuits. So that's really reducing the photonics functionality to a chip level. Now, within each and every of these technology platforms, we offer the full supply chain. We offer design and modeling services. We offer also the prototyping of it, the characterization and measurement of the components or the systems, and also, of course, building demos and proof of concept demonstrators. We have also a close link to the pilot lines of photonics in Europe. And here, I think it's also important for the innovation support. We subsidize the cross-border. And for us, a project is a cross-border whenever there is a partner that is from another country. So for instance, if you, as a French company, are teaming up with a French RTO or technology provider and a German partner who is doing, for instance, the design or the testing, that we call a cross-border project. So the goal is to, the definition is that there should be at least one partner outside your country. And if this is the case, then we look how far the technology readiness of your project is. If it is really on prototyping, then, and you are a small and medium-sized enterprise, the first 30,000 euro is a project that is for free, so no cash contribution from it. You will not have any invoice about it. And that are most of the feasibility studies to check what technology. If there has to be something made and the budget goes above that 30,000, for every 10,000 above the 30,000, we ask a contribution of 2,500 euros. That comes down to a contribution of 25%, so 75% is subsidized, what I think is a really interesting scheme. You can have also a follow-up project. So you can have first, for instance, you want to not really investigate too much. You keep below that 30,000 to check the feasibility. And when this is okay, then you can go also to a next follow-up project. For upscaling, it is 50-50% for an SME. And manufacturing, that's also interesting. For instance, if you say, okay, I want to use a photonics component, a spectrometer, a fiber, a specific lens, and you know, yeah, there should be also manufacturers in Europe where I can find it, but I do not know directly them. I cannot easily find them. Then you can also knock on our door, and then we will look in Europe what are the best providers for the components that you are looking. And this service is completely free, so you don't have to pay us to find the right manufacturer. But of course, the components you have to pay 100% yourself. So we will only guide you to possible manufacturers in Europe, and then it's up to you to decide with whom you would like to go further. And of course, the components themselves you have to pay yourself. But I think it's also interesting and a nice service if you want to see, are there other, maybe you have a manufacturer in mind, but you want to see if there are other possibilities to buy your specific components. Now, for the large-scale companies, it is at prototyping, is it 50%? And upscaling, we don't have any subsidy there. Now you are wondering maybe, yes, if I want to have such an innovation project, what are the steps to go through? So the first step is to register on our PhotonHUB.eu website. It's a simple form where you indicate, okay, I'm a company, my key domain is in that domain, and I'm looking, for instance, for prototyping. I'm looking for maybe a special fiber sensor or a special free-form optics. So you give a high-level indication on what you are looking for or what you think also that can really benefit. Based on that information, and we of course make contact with you to check if we really understand your need, then we will send an expert that can have an in-depth discussion with you to really see where PhotonHUB can really help you and support you in your technology challenge. This expert will then make a report on it, and if you have the positive feeling after the discussion, yes, PhotonHUB, I want to go a next step further. Up to there, it is really free, no obligations anywhere. So, but then you can step to go to project proposal, and then we identify a project leader from PhotonHUB for you. That project leader will write the project proposal, make the different steps, what you can expect, make a nice budget. That will then be evaluated by our project evaluation team. And in most cases, it's really to see where we even can improve your project, that it can be really beneficial for you. And then once this is approved, then it kicks off and your project is started. So just to mention the success rate, for us, it's most important to do this first step really in depth, so that both the photonics partner and US company see the benefit of joining, because we believe in really a collaborative project. And once it goes to the project proposal and evaluation, the project that go through, it's about more than 85% that go through, since the filtering is more happening at the start, in fact. So here you see also like the subsidy and what I mentioned. For instance, a project of 70,000, there you have about 40,000 above these 30,000. So your contribution is 10,000, while you receive the benefits of a project of a value of 70,000. So really nice balance, I would say. Now, to give you some examples, and I do not know from which sectors you are, so I will just briefly give you some examples. And as you have seen, we have a large track record. So we have been serving through these projects already more than 200, even maybe 300 companies. So from there, I can give you like a few examples. Like the company Optimum Sorting, a Belgium company, and they want to really, with laser-based sorting machine, increase their performance. So that was really the technology platform one. So that is about this free-form optics, and it had a duration of 7 months, and 2 partners were contributing. But also, for instance, to see in the drone, now the drones are also equipped with a lot of cameras, and there they want to have a good camera system to allocate which of the fruits can be harvested. So there it was a project of 6 months with an English company and a Polish contribution. Or the football stadia, the grass has to be always in perfect status, and therefore they inspect it a lot, and they want to also automate that inspection, and there also spectral cameras did the work. Or now with Natural Machines, a Spanish company that made like 3D printing, but for the food, and there they want to have like cooking applications also integrated. Or the wines of Crete that want to see the barrels where the wine is conceived, what is the aging of these barrels, because if they have a certain age, then it's not beneficial anymore for the wine. And let's go with the penetration of the fluid. So there, small optical fibers were inserted and testing. Or also Optimum Sorting, and then was more about the elimination. You see, this company is coming back, so there can be like a follow-up project. Or to see the soil, the monitoring. Or here also the Natural Machines came back. Here it was for the spraying. So if you have to spray, and I think it was for olive trees, to see if it is good dispersed, that every part of your tree is sprayed well, and not to overspray certain parts. Or here in polytunnels in the agri-tech, to have the right wavelengths coming through. Or here also with anti-reflection coating, or identifying aspects. You see a large variety of possibilities there. Now, if we go to the climate, mobility and energy, then we had for the mobility, the Smart Notes, a Belgian company, was looking to really detect when it's need to have the street lights on. So really also with detectors there. Or to have wearable technology for having photovoltaics. Or here it was an English company who wants to monitor the installations of the distribution of the electricity, to have their fiber break ratings on it, to have more informations on their installations. Or here, imaging source that was to have a special lens that instantly could measure the distance of also for in the automotive. Heller Construct was to have a system to measure the weight of the trucks in the road, so also with fiber sensing, and then also with the deformation of the roads with cameras that we already had. Here it was for an efficiently coupling of UV lights, or for the detection of particles, to have also the quality of the air. EnviroPet, we have also a movie of EnviroPet. It is in the recycling where they melt the plastic, and to have this melting at the right viscosity. There they did also real-time monitoring, also based on several photonics application parameters. Here it was also Aquacorp is Spanish, and that was then related to the quality detection of water. You always see that these projects are not taking too long, but they are dedicated to one specific challenge. Schrader is also about the lighting, really the right distribution of lighting, so that you have an efficient lighting cells. Or also in photovoltaic cells, the design. So yeah, quite. And then EnviroPet came back with a follow-up project. Now, some examples in the digital infrastructure. There you see also the TP5, so the photonic integrated circuits are playing more also a role in this digital information, but it can go also for telecom and entertainment, to have a lens profile for a good cinematographic experience. Or in the telecom that we have here, for instance, in the helmets for the cyclists, to have additional VR that is met a projection system, so that the parameters could be displayed for the cyclists. Here it's also an integrated photonics project for signal equalization. Then we had here also reflectivity measurements of dielectric mirrors. So here it's really in the photonics sector. That's also possible. Here, for instance, it was more in the entertainment, to have the right promotion and displayed, also in the football, yeah, and other products. Now, in the health sector, there we see also a lot of applications with photonics. Here it was for really more for manipulating like on a single cell, where you manipulate the cell with light. Here it was about the glucose sensing, one of the, I think, also societal challenges. A lot of people want to know the glucose rate, and there it was an application. Also, here you see an optical fiber with a tip to have a certain sensor, biotechnology sensor. And here it was to have an on-chip monitoring device to see if once the patient is going to a medical imaging system, that he is really stable and not moving. Here also again with cell manipulation. Here also ex vivo diagnostics, also to measure certain parameters in elements. And here it was an Irish company, Timpani, who made a special endoscope for in the ears. Of course, everything had to be really small and miniaturized, and special optics to really make a good image of in the inner ear. Here also to measure temperature in cardiovascular, but also monitoring like gases. Here it was to see the pH value of the wounds, because that gives a lot of information, to measure that also with indicators. Here to have really smart implants to see how far the healing has been taking place. Here it was more on imaging techniques. Also eaglet eye, it was to see the profile of the eye, and then it was for also VR industry or in X-ray innovative measurements. So a lot of here the light sheets, or in the biotech to also illuminate the cells, to have measurements, to monitor the stabilization, more camera systems, to measure to detect the antibiotics in blood, spectroscopic devices. You see a lot of different applications in also the medical. Regarding safety, there we had in the transport, to see also the state of art for the railway conditions, in security, to have also there fluorescent security inks, in aerospace to have tunable lenses, the fluorescence probe for forensic research, in aerospace to have like integrated photonics for quantum random generator. So aerospace to transport a lot of light to empower satellites. So also there. And then the manufacturing. In the manufacturing, you see that the sector is also like the photonics sector, where we help with new technologies such that they can also produce their photonics system at the next level. And also, of course, production of like special fibers, but also laser cutting with laser diodes, or engraving, for instance, on cork, to have the right laser to do that processing. Laser material processing also, special lenses for the reflectivity. So Here also very interesting, that was in production, where you have the tubes for gas, and where you have the flanges where you want to make sure that no gas can leak out. And there was also included an optical fiber to really measure the tension that your flanges are really good connected. And this is, of course, on kilometers and kilometers of tubes. And this helps in the maintenance of those installations, or special displays, for instance. Or in new plastic injection reflector engraves. So a lot of possibilities that you with photonics in the production. Now, and that was a lot, and that's only a fraction of the different projects or companies that we have been supported. And the main characteristic was that we listen what they would need. We bring the best experts on contact, and then they do a project of 4 or 6 months to really go to the next tier level. Now, in some cases, it's also interested to skill your employees with more photonics knowledge. And there we offer several. We have online free general introductions on photonics on different topics online of 1 or 2 hours, very interesting. And then we have also our demo and experience centers where you can come for 1 or 3 days and have a really in-depth training. Now, so a demo center, it's about 1 day on site. We have about 32 demo centers. It can be, for instance, photonics in sensing, in manufacturing, also in integrated photonics, in data, in food safety. So you can find them. The experience centers, it's 3 days, where you have always also a lot of hands-on, where you can also make and see what those technologies can offer. All those trainings can be found, of course, on our website. We have a link, but if you go directly to our catalog of trainings, it's ecosystem.photonhub.eu, and there you can find the list of the trainings when it's taking place. For instance, you see also French partners that are offering trainings, and then by clicking on a title you find more information and you can register. So it's highly, if you want to get really an in-depth training, it is highly appreciated. And to give you a glance, I will show you now a video. I hope that the sound is coming through. If that is not the case, I hope that I will receive then a message. So I will now launch this video.
So we are currently holding our Experience Center, which is a 3-day hands-on training, in our case on optics and freeform optics, where participants from all over Europe come over to get a hands-on feel of how optical components, and in particular freeform optical components, are designed, manufactured, prototyped, replicated, and measured. Through the PhotonHUB Europe Pan-European Digital Innovation Hub, we have some innovation support available for feasibility studies to together work out a particular application where we can then evaluate whether photonics can be of an added value for them.
A freeform optic is a fantastic way to efficiently collect and couple the light out of the chip and onto optical fibers in our system, for example. Thanks to the training, we learn a lot about the design, the manufacturability of the freeform optics. And also, most importantly for us, we learn on how to scale up the process of manufacturing of freeform optical lenses. This is an added value for us because we need to consider the scalability in our process.
I recommend people to come here and see how the projects are built and how the projects are running here. It includes not only theory, but also some hands-on experience. Freeform optics is important for us because we can stay ahead of our competitors in our market and to give the best solutions to our customers. The added value of PhotonHUB is the possibility to access to a wide network of research centers and manufacturers that can help to solve some problems that we cannot solve by ourselves.
Not only the lessons itself was really a value for me, but also have the contact with high-level professionals. It's very inspiring and we can learn a lot from them.
Okay, and that will conclude then my presentation. I see I went a little bit over time maybe, but maybe there is still, Thierry, time for one question or...
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Nathalie, for a very thorough, very concrete, very clear presentation. There's a lot of information there, obviously. Just for your information, I can see there's a question already, but I've pasted in the chat some of the links you mentioned in your presentation, Nathalie. So in particular, the link to the application form. The one you mentioned, which is the preliminary step, really. If there is an interest, the first thing to do is to register online. So I pasted the link so people can do that if they wish. And also a few links, one to the introductory online training, to give an example, and also the link that you mentioned to the ecosystem.photonhub.eu, the training catalog, which I think is very important. So effectively, we'll just take a few questions. In fact, it's Najwa. Thank you, Najwa, for asking those questions. Let me see if I can start with let's see, which ones can I start with? Najwa is asking, is it more relevant for companies or laboratory to access to PhotonHUB Europe? And do they need to have photonics already integrated in their industry, or is it possible for other companies, laboratories without photonics technology to contact PhotonHUB Europe? So in other words, do you need to have photonics already integrated to be involved in the project, or can you start from almost zero?
You can start from almost zero. We had, for instance, a company, to give an example, who made fireplaces. But with the environment regulations, fireplaces are now really, the market is dropping. And they wanted to see the possibility of virtual fireplaces, where they want to use hologram to have the flames and so on, but they had no clue at all on how to approach that. So they had no photonics and even no really electronics technology in-house. And this is just to show that wherever you are in your company, whatever you see the possibility that indeed photonics can really help you to go to a new market or to shift your production, and you don't need to have a prior photonics technology in your company. Of course, photonics technologies can also knock on our door. So it's the wide range. I see also the question about multiple times having support of PhotonHUB. that is indeed possible. Like I mentioned, in the prototyping, you can have a first feasibility study, then a follow-up project, and then even if a prototype is successful, you can go to an upscaling project. You can have then also like a training or a business support, or really they have a coaching for investors. We have these investor days that we are also organizing together with TechTour, where we bring the companies together with investors. So it's not that you have that support that you are excluded for another kind of support in PhotonHUB. And related to the deep technology, you can have in prototyping a follow-up, and you can have also then a follow-up in upscaling, and there also follow-up. So a lot of that's what we also aim to have, a durable engagement with the company,
Right.
and to build that. Yeah.
Great. Najwa, feel free if you want to ask the questions yourself. I see that you've put another one about funding for companies under TRL 3 and 4. So I presume this is for very early even research projects.
Exactly, for R&D, for example. Do you have some funding for R&D before any prototyping of any product for societies?
Yeah, a great question also. Thank you. Yes, we are targeting TRL 3 up to 8. And so in TRL 3, it's mainly to check the feasibility, to see if investing in that technology would be really checking the parameters that you are looking for, and would it be also cost effective, and so on. It's not only technology, but also the business aspects have to be checked, and yes, this is possible. Yeah.
That's really interesting, because I think a lot of laboratories and SMEs are starting a new experience before having any products. So for startups, for example, it will be really relevant, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nathalie.
Thank you for your questions.
Okay, so I'm not sure there are any other questions in the question or in the chat that I can see. So maybe we can leave it there and conclude. Basically, I think the main message here is to, and thanks again, Nathalie, for your presentation and for your time today. But the main message, if you agree, is to visit your website and talk to Najwa, especially for those who are members of Systematic, whether they're in the Optics and Photonics Hub, but also in other hubs, because obviously what you have very clearly demonstrated is that photonics is a digital technology. It's a key digital technologies, and it is transversal to many sectors. It's a technology that can work in, as you very clearly demonstrated, in agriculture, in manufacturing, and it's all a question of understanding the value that photonics can bring to a particular company or to a particular sector. So I think that's what I'm basically take as a takeaway from this webinar, is that whatever sector you're in, photonics can offer something to make you more competitive, more efficient, maybe using less energy, less material, and so on and so forth. I think that was very clear. So I can see something in the chat. I don't know if it's a question. No, it's Najwa who's put her email address. Thank you, Najwa. No, sorry. So effectively, I invite you in the first instance, obviously, apart from visiting the website, to contact Najwa if you have any question. She will be your contact point in Systematic, and Najwa can do obviously the link with Nathalie and with PhotonHUB Europe. So if there is no other point here, I will leave it there. I thank you again, Nathalie, for your time, and Najwa as well. Thank you very much, and Emmanuel and Lucie for organizing the webinar. And please reach out to us. There will be a replay of this webinar available just after we will close this. And Nathalie, will you make your presentation available to us? I don't know if we already have it.
Yes.
And people can ask for it if they wish to have access. And then yes, we are obviously looking forward to more interactions with you on this topic. And thanks again for this very interesting presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.